live. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the chats, comments. Big waves to you. Good to see you this morning. Jim Romine, I got your message. Hadn't been able to respond, but we'll talk today, update you. Good to see everybody. So our word for today is determined. Determined. Having made a firm decision and being resolved not to change it. A firm decision. How many of you feel determined right now? Like there's something going on in your life where you're determined. Um, you've made that firm decision and you've decided you're not going to change it. You're headed forward. I definitely can say I got a lot different things going on, in my life where I am determined. I'm determined. And I'm sure you can do the same thing. Different walks, maybe different journeys. Um, but there was a quote that really stood out to me in the word determined. A determined mind and a strong will bear endless possibilities. Probably because this person just has pure stubbornness in them. That was my first thought. But a determined mind and a strong will bear endless possibilities. And when I heard this quote, I thought about, when you don't have a determined mind, how many of you know people you've watched? Imagine a track meet. Imagine the 800 meter, right? Somebody is great out of the gate, right? But then on about that, maybe that second lap, maybe it's the third lap, their stamina starts to set in. You start to see them fall back, right? I always say, great out of the gate, but not much for stamina. Um, to me, a determined person it's not that they are not going to go through struggles. It's not that they're not going to experience failures or hardships or question their self. But the determined person has the stamina to see it through. They have the stamina to keep the course, to keep moving. We hear a lot of times, especially in the business world, success loves speed. And I believe that's true. I believe success does love speed. But I also believe we got to figure out our own pace. So many times I'm judging Ernest Stark's pace with my pace, right? And what I got to figure out is how am I going to be here 2 or 3 years down the road? So think about it. If it's a health journey you got right now, figure out your pace. Don't compete with John Frick's pace. Figure out your pace and go, you know what? Really, the key to this is in 5 years from now, I'm going to be a healthier version of myself. 5 years from now, I'm going to be more financially stable. But how many times do we compare and I end up being that person that was great out of the gate, wanting to make a change, but not much for stamina because I'm comparing myself with all these different things around me. So how can I be more determined? I'm going to say these real quick. Let your past inform your future. And that's probably a big one for me. I seem to be a little slower. I tend to let a lesson learned be a lesson learned again and again and again. I don't know if you can ever relate to that. I know that cheesecake will put weight on me, but for some reason I eat it again, you know? Uh, let your past inform your future. Number two, see your life and your future totally in your control. It's not in your friend's control. It's not in your spouse's control. It's not in somebody else's control. It's your control. Like we control our own future. Um, and we got to see our life that way. Don't resent, but instead celebrate the success of others. If somebody else is losing weight, having amazing success, celebrate them. Throw a post up about them. Call them up. You know, if somebody's receiving financial success bigger than yours, celebrate them. Hard to do sometimes. But I believe this creates a determination in us. And then I put these last two. Don't focus on others. We just talked about it. Only try to impress yourself with yourself. Okay. And then last, count your blessings daily. Because the blessings that might be circulating around us might not always be there. So when you get up today, when I get up tomorrow, figure out my blessings, count my blessings daily. And all of these things are things that they say, hey, this will make us a more determined human. So, Andrew, I'll turn it to you.
Oh, sorry about that. All right. Well, great lesson there, Coach. And the quote that I found that I fell in love with is, if you're truly determined, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. And that's Maxine Lagacé, and I'm probably butchering her name, but that's okay. And I think about, so many times in our life when we're really determined about something, maybe it's, I don't know, I'm thinking about my life, like moving across the country or homeschooling my kids or, following a certain path. We will all come across these obstacles, but when it's really important to us, when we're truly determined, we just keep trucking. And we might step on those stepping stones and we might step on those obstacles, but it doesn't stop us. We don't get deterred because of it. So to be determined, we must be purposeful. We must have strong convictions. And some people I might have been called this once or twice, might call us stubborn or obsessed. Right? You ever see somebody that's like just gung-ho, on something that they're really determined about? And you're like, dang, they're really obsessed with that. I think of my daughter and her crocheting. She's just obsessed. No, she's determined that she wants to make herself sweaters. So she just rocks it. Or the person that's working harder than you are, and you say, oh my goodness, they should just slow down. No, they're determined. They've got big goals. They're creating something incredible for themselves. It might be different than what you want, but they are focusing on their determination. So, when I look at the different people in my life that I see this strong conviction, this strong determination, you kind of find these common characteristics. So that's what I'm going to talk about. What characteristics do we see in a determined person? First of all, they're brave. To be determined, we must be really, really brave. And that doesn't mean we lack fear. Like, you don't need to be brave if you're not afraid. There's nothing to be brave about. Like, if you're not afraid of a stray dog and you go up and pet it, that's not brave. Where the bravery comes in is if you're a person that's fearful of canines and you see a stray dog and you still want to help it, but you walk up there, you feel the fear and you do it anyway. That is bravery, and that is a characteristic of determined people. Next, they're confident. Doubt creeps into the minds of all of us. Every single one of us has those moments of doubt. As far as I know, I haven't met anybody that doesn't. If you're the one, feel free to let me know. But a determined person, sorry guys, I have somebody over here right now helping with my air conditioner and the dogs are very upset about it. But a determined person has a confident understanding of their own personal capabilities and their limitations. Next, they're decisive. We've all seen it. Those determined people that just make those decisions so quickly. And it doesn't mean that they're always right. They might make mistakes, but they choose and then they'll clean up later if they need to. They're focused. Yeah, we hear Coach talk about this a lot. Like, what's our focus? What are we focused on? And excuse me, a determined person intent is always focused on moving one step closer to achieving whatever it is that they're working to achieve. Next, they're hardworking. Goals cannot be met unless we do the work to meet them. And there is this, we kind of see it like the anti-hustle culture, kind of especially in, I'm going to say the younger generation. But, I don't know anyone that sat back and waited for life to happen and got exactly what they were wanting. So the determined person gets the work done, no matter how hard that work might be. Next, they're motivated. It takes motivation to remain determined toward accomplishing our goals. They're reliable. Oh my gosh, those people that are determined, those are the people that we can absolutely rely on in our life, because you can count on the determined people to get stuff done. Next, they are resilient. So a determined person can bounce back from, oh, sorry, Tracy just called me out in my text messages. It was not. Anyway, a determined person can bounce back from difficult conditions, setbacks, and failures. Nothing can distract them from progressing, from achieving their goals. And then lastly, they're steadfast. Those determined people are loyal and they're dedicated to achieving their goals. And they see it as their duty to carry on, to be faithful, to be committed to the mission. So a determined person has a steadfast characteristic of unwavering determination. So thank you guys for this one this morning. I thought it was a good one, so appreciate your time. And we had a birthday. I'm not sure if she's here. But we do have, it's Nancy Boxford. I don't see her.
Yeah,
but
she's not on this morning. Happy birthday, Nancy. Hope you have an amazing day. You're watching the recording later. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Happy Thursday. We'll see you back to close out the week.
Happy Thursday.
Bless.
Happy Thursday. Love
Guys,
y'all.
great